Continuance for the 43 Gunning Point enforcement to January 16th, 2013. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstention? Unanimous, so moved. Thank you. Other business, I don't see our other business presentation here, which is a presentation by Wilkinson Ecological Status of Bernstein Coastal Bank Restoration Project, so I'll ask for a,
Make a motion to table?
yes.
Second?
Any questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Unanimous, so moved. Request for a continuance under a notice of intent. Michael George, 45 Dusty Miller Road, Falmouth, for permission to construct and maintain 2 house additions, a porch addition to remove and abandon a portion of the existing driveway to be converted to lawn, construction of a new driveway, retaining walls and steps, installation of a new Title V sewage disposal system, drainage, utilities, mitigation, and restoration planning, and the associated clearing, excavating, grading, and landscaping. Jen?
Yes, Madam Chairman, the applicant requests a continuance until January 16th.
So moved.
Second?
Yes, Ed?
Yes, Madam Chair. If I recall this correct, this is at least the third continuance.
Nope, it's the second continuance.
I have 4th.
You're the fourth?
Well, not according to this,
August 8th to August 29th to October.
but August 20,
31st.
It was only opened up.
All right, well, I said at least the third, so I
Oh,
just,
right. This is the third.
So, 3rd.
August 8th, August 29th to October 31st, and so this is the third.
so this is the third, and we would sort of encourage the applicant to decide what he wants to present, and please come back to us. Otherwise, we can't continue forever.
Did you give us a date?
January 16th.
January 13th?
16th.
Did you make a motion?
Yes, I did, and it was seconded.
All right. We have a motion and a second. And our comments? Any comments from the audience? Does anybody have problems with counting there or with their cell phones? Okay, I'll call for a motion. All in favor of a continuance to the 16th, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstention? Unanimous, so moved. Okay, request for a determination of applicability. Richard Urban,
Chairman, minutes?
oh, minutes. I do have, minutes is next. Does anyone have minutes of October 17th? Or October 24th? I think they were just in our,
No, I did not receive it yet.
okay, we'll do them next week. Request for, I knew that I hadn't read the minutes. That's why I skipped them, but I thought perhaps somebody else here was quick, like you, Ed.
Well, you do
Chairman.
such a good job that we won't
Madam
generally
Chairman,
tend
do
to
you have
defer to
the-
your scrutiny.
Pardon me?
Do you have the minutes of October 24th in front of you?
I do not. They're at home. I was going to read them, but I didn't have a chance.
Okay, Madam Chairman, can we table this to other business at the end of the evening? I have just a brief thing. I need the board to vote a particular section
Part of
of
it?
those minutes
I
tonight.
move to continue this discussion about minutes until the end of the meeting.
Section.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Unanimous, so moved. Request for a determination of applicability. Richard Urban, 23 Hamlin Point Road, Wacoit, for permission to vista prune.
Yes, Madam Chairman. Staff recommends a -2 under the state and the bylaw with the resource area boundaries not confirmed if the pruning is done in accordance with the vista pruning guidelines and your regs.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions on the board? Any questions from the audience? Okay, for those of you who don't know and are here for an RDA, negative determination means you can go ahead with what you want to do. So, motion on the table is to accept staff's recommendation of a negative determination. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstention? Unanimous, so moved. Okay, the next one is Sandy Boyd, Buzzards Bay, latitude 41:37:85, longitude 70:41 minutes 65 seconds, Falmouth. for permission to convey the Cleveland Ledge Lighthouse property ownership and to allow minor restoration, follow all guidelines for historic buildings and ongoing maintenance to the structure. Jen?
Yes, Madam Chairman, Mr. Boyd is attempting to purchase the Cleveland Lead Lighthouse, and they need a determination from the commission for the Chapter 91 license to go through. He did ask for minor restoration work. There wasn't enough detail in that description for staff to feel comfortable with the work was being done. We sent an email to Mr. Boyd and let him know that we will take up the issue for the conveyance of the ownership only, and that he would need to come back to us at a later date
to do any work.
for any restoration work he wants to do on the structure.
Okay.
But we would recommend a -2 under the state and the bylaw for the transfer of the property, and a +3 at this time under the state and the bylaw for the work.
Okay, because it maybe you change your recommendation, but you just need more information.
We need more information of what exactly Mr. Boyd would like to do with the lighthouse.
Okay.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions?
Yeah, well, maybe more of a comment, if I understand what's happening here correctly. Work on the properties within our jurisdiction. Anything having to do with conveying ownership from one person to another is, to my knowledge, not part of our jurisdiction. I guess by the negative finding, that's what we're saying?
Yes, that's what we're saying. They need some sort of written documentation from the commission for the Chapter 91 license, so they can put that in his name. But that's exactly what you're saying, yeah.
Okay.
So we're just acknowledging
Yes,
that it's in our jurisdiction.
yes.
Well, it's in a jurisdiction, but we have no jurisdiction over title transfers.
Correct.
Right.
Right, all we're doing is acknowledging it's in our jurisdiction. We don't have a street address for it, but we do have a lat long for it.
We're just saying middle of Buzzards Bay.
Right. Okay,
I'd
any
like to
other?
do, that'd be kind of cool to do a site visit.
I think so.
Yeah, I think we should have
I think so.
we need a site visit, the
To
whole
the
board.
lighthouse. I will try to arrange that for you.
All right.
That'd be cool.
July would be.
Oh, and the audience wants to come also.
We can all go out to the lighthouse.
Very, yeah.
You should go on my boat. There we go.
Everybody gets an oar?
It all fit.
Any other questions? Okay, motion on the table is to accept staff's recommendation of a negative determination as far as changing ownership. We're just confirming that it's within our jurisdiction and a positive determination on any work to be done.
Yes.
Final chance for anybody to ask questions? Okay. All in favor of the motion on the table, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstention? Unanimous, so moved. Okay, continued request for determination of applicability. James Teachy, 352 Scranton Avenue, Falmouth, Massachusetts, for permission to remove a 2,000-gallon underground storage tank and fiberglass fuel line, check soils for contamination, backfill, and pave over. Jen?
Yes, Madam Chairman, the applicant is requesting a continuance until November 28th.
So moved.
We had given them a one-week, we had given them a one-week continuance, and it's a little bit more planning involved with the removal of this tank, given its location.
Okay, so you're still working with them?
Yep.
Okay, we have a motion and a second on the table for a continuance.
Yeah, second.
Michelle,
Does anybody have any questions?
better want to go visit?
Okay. We'll take a vote. All in favor of the motion on the table, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Unanimous, so moved. Okay, request for a hearing under a notice of intent. All hearings of the Falmouth Conservation Commission are heard simultaneously under the authority of the Massachusetts Wetlands Protection Act and the Falmouth Wetlands Bylaw. Although a single decision is issued, it represents a separate decision under each authority. First item is Deborah and Paul Hennessy, 569 Courier Road, East Falmouth, for permission to remove remnants of a concrete block retaining wall, install footings, native plants, construct a native stone and mortar retaining wall with steps and returns, and the associated clearing, excavating, grading, and landscaping. Hello. Jen?
Yes, Madam Chairman, I'll save any of my questions until after Mr. Bunker's presentation. Oh, he needs an easel.
Hello, Tom.
Hello.
You want to shed some light on it?
I can leave it dark and spooky.
Much better.
Yes. Hello, I'm Tom Bunker with BSS Design, filling in for Jeff at the moment. One comment that probably Jen will have is that we have not yet gotten a response back from Natural Heritage. So we'll be requesting a continuance. But we'll go forward a little bit with this anyway, and I'll explain it and get comments. This project is on a Shumat Pond, on the west side of a Shumat Pond, about halfway up near where Courier Road, up on Courier Road by where Sandwich Road comes in there. There's a house, an old house here, and a lawn area, and then a beach area where it's been used for decades, if not centuries, in this area. And there are remnants of some block retaining wall in this area, and these existing steps coming partway down, and then it's an eroding path going down to the beach. The resource areas, obviously, we have the pond. We have a 75-foot buffer to it, and a BVW along there, which has a 50-foot buffer to it. So all of the work is within the buffer, actually the A zone. But the work here is to rebuild, basically pull out some of the old concrete block walls and build a new retaining wall, basically at the same distance back from the pond, and then backfill it with this. So the existing steps will remain, and there'll be a sandy area, and then some steps, I'm not sure how many, like 3 or 4 risers coming down to this area. And this will stop erosion from, further erosion from coming down there, and make a better situation for the pond. The impervious area here, I don't know if he has the calculations on there, but he has the impervious areas counting the retaining wall and the steps as new impervious area, and it's within the A zones. It'll be tripled, and so he's got the 180 square feet of shrubs up in this location, and a tree right there. So I'll take questions.
Okay, Jen, do you have any? Who had this one? Ed, I'll start with you.
Jen has no comments?
She has no comment.
I have no comments either.
Okay. Michelle?
I have no questions.
Tom, on the profile here, the footing is only 4 inches thick on that, at the base of that wall. And I would really, a minimum of an 8-inch footing is something that would be, I'd feel more comfortable with, and something that has some pinnings up into the wall. I know that you got, there's no, shows no rebar in it or anything like that. And the block wall that was there may have lasted quite a while. You've got drainage in it, which is great.
Yeah.
But I would really, an 8-inch footing would be a lot better to support that, even though it's not that tall. And then just an occasional pinning in that from the few pieces of rebar laterally, and then something vertically.
Yeah.
Just to help tie that wall together.
Sounds right. I can't say why Jeff decided on this one, but we'll have time to think about it. And
Pink granite, isn't that going to be hard to put rebar
No.
to?
No, no. It doesn't have to go all the way up through, but just something to pin the bottom of just to pin
Pin
the,
those bottom
Into
pins
the
in.
mortar.
Stabilize
right,
it.
you can do it inside the mortar joint, anything that's between the outside and the inside where you get the courses, can be very random.
Okay, my only comment is, you mentioned preventing erosion and preventing, and I'm glad, because my only concern is stability, so that this doesn't fall over with what's the backfilling. But there's also, part of the problem is erosion from the pond. The pond sometimes is several feet higher than it was now. So,
Yes.
I think this'll improve the situation, right there. Mike?
You have some circles with dots. I take those to be the locust trees? I don't see it in the locust.
This one says locust, one of it says locusts.
One does say, or a pair does say locusts, so
This one over here is an oak. Maybe we were looking at it.
they're trees anyway. but-
They're trees. Are there more trees than shown to the north of that walkway?
That
And the only concern is, I don't think you're gonna interfere with them, but, yeah,
I don't know.
okay. Just make sure that that wall tying in isn't tying to trees on the side.
It won't disturb any, it
Okay.
won't damage any trees, no.
But since you're gonna come back to visit us, you'll make sure that all trees that are supposed to be there are
At least in
there.
the vicinity of the,
Mhm.
they do disappear from time to time. It's hard to believe.
No. Yep.
Tommy?
No questions, looks like a nice improvement.
Okay. Now, the last time I asked you for a date, you told me your wife was going out of town.
She's not for a while, so.
Oh, okay. So perhaps you and Jen can work on a continuance.
Oh, you weren't, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Would you like November 28th? That's the next available, and you should have
Yeah.
natural heritage by then.
Yes.
At the request of the applicant, I move that we continue this until November 28th, is that what you said?
Yes.
Second.
Okay, any questions? Any questions from the audience? Okay, motion on the table is a continuance to November, we're not
28th.
November yet, no.
28th.
November tomorrow.
Hold that thought for 1 minute, Madam Chairman. Tom, when did you send it into natural heritage?
It was a week, little, well, I think it was, here, October 25th.
Yeah, you won't have it in for next week. November 28th.
Motion on the table is a continuance to November 28th. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstention? Unanimous, so moved.
Thank you.
Thank you. But you're here for more, right? Stephen Haddad, 190 Associates Road, West Falmouth, for permission to install an in-ground swimming pool, pool patio, install infiltrators, pool equipment, pool fence, retaining wall, wood fence, native mitigation plantings, and the associated clearing, excavating, grading, and landscaping. Hope you don't pass that cold on to anybody.
Don't you bring that up.
Here, have a candy.
You're gonna get in trouble, Madam Chair.
2 weeks ago, I gave it to him 2 weeks ago.
I know.
Yeah, that's what he claims. He hopes not.
Two times.
No, it stops with me.
Jen, do you have any comments?
Not at this time, Madam Chairman.
Thank you. I'm Tom Bunker with BSS Design. This house at 190 Associates Road is, had an order of conditions from you a while back. It's been built, gotten compliance for it, and this time coming back to put in a swimming pool on the north side of the property here. His existing house, lawn, driveway, septic system. In here, this is on, when you first come on to Chappaquiddick Island, Associates Road. This is, Associates Road is, and Buzzards Bay is out this way, and there's a small pond which there's a mosquito ditch that goes out into West Falmouth Harbor. slightly tidal, a little bit of a salt marsh through here, and then a larger, fairly extensive freshwater BVW coming up this way. And this was shown on the plan for the proposed house when we did that. There is offset here, a 100-foot A zone for the salt marsh coming through here. And then around this way is the 50-foot A zone for this BVW coming through this way. The B zone, well, for the BVW is back here. The rest of the property is in a flood zone, but at this point, we're basically out of the, besides the flood zone, out of the buffer zones from here out. Now, because these are the A zones, they're completely naturally vegetated, so work beyond the A zone in the B zone does not require mitigation planting. So we have here basically a pool patio with a pool in it and what's referred to as a retaining wall there. There's, up on this side, there's a little bit of a retaining wall because the pool is down part of a level, so it's holding back some of this lot here. And otherwise, this retaining wall, this wall here is about 1.5 feet high coming around this way. Pool will be at, this patio will be at elevation 8. The lawn here is at 6.5, 7. This corner right here is currently vegetated with some native, some invasive, but it's naturally vegetated through here. So this corner of it will be removed. We're adding 460 square feet through here of native plants. This is sort of a little, the lowest part of the lawn down here, so we're planting that back with native plants. So limited work, everything stays out of the A zones. Right now there's a dry well for one of the gutters through here. So what will happen is there'll be drainage put in up in this location, some infiltrators up there, so the stormwater from this side of the house will go in up here, and also there'll be some trench drains along the edge of the patio to collect any of the stormwater runoff from the patio and put it down in behind the pool wall rather than going toward the BVW. That's the project. We'll take questions.
Thanks. No question there. We'll start with Tommy.
I guess if you're bringing the retaining wall, that's gonna be an 8-foot retaining wall. On this end, right at the A zone in both directions.
No, this wall here?
Yes.
No, it's like about 1.5 feet high.
That's a foot.
And it's elevation 8,
Okay.
but the ground is elevation 6.5 or 7.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a 6-foot contour. Here. It's 1.5 to 2 feet high through there. The higher retaining wall is in the back. So actually, if you come down, there's some steps up by the. So this retaining wall is going to wrap around some, and hold this. This land is higher, and then down here is just gets to about 2 feet high. That wall.
I don't have any further questions.
Okay, Mike?
2 questions, well, maybe more. There is a 4-foot fence, chain link fence, that's shown wrapping around the whole thing, and I suppose that's security. And then there's a 6-foot wooden fence. Where is the extent of that 6-foot wooden fence?
It's basically along this side for privacy mainly,
Okay.
along the pool to protect it. There's also a 6-foot fence partway along here for privacy for this other neighbor also. I didn't put that in. But it's a privacy fence.
There is a maybe 12-inch cedar right near the property line. I believe it's on the north side. You're going to be able to get that wall in without tearing up the tree? If you run Shown right down the dimensions of the deck, the existing over to the property line, it sits right there. Pretty nice looking tree.
Yeah, that I'm not sure. I mean, a tree like that would hang over the patio. I'm not sure that could be safe.
It's on your neighbor's property. I believe.
If it's on the neighbor's property, then we
Yeah,
have
I'm
to
just-
save it, yeah.
That's fair enough.
Yeah, I'm not, totally sure where that is. But certainly we're not going over, we're, staying back away from the property line, so we're not going to affect anything on the neighbor's property.
Very good.
You know what kind of a pool it's gonna be? And where drainage the pool would be, if you had to drain it?
Be a cartridge, maybe a cartridge-type filter, which, doesn't need the backwashing or anything.
Yep.
As far as draining, like I say, it'd be a slow process, but, could go into the dry well that's under the patio or go into the, pumped up. There's other dry wells
the
for
one
the
up
storm
there.
drainage. But I don't know how often that can't really be emptied, because it's probably going to be a little bit down into the,
Down low? Pardon me?
it's down in the groundwater a little bit, so
Oh.
it can't be emptied.
Oh,
It'll float.
Otherwise, it'll
Put it in
float
the
up.
Bathtub and pop up.
Question,
what's your question?
dewatering. Do you have to dewater if you're putting it in groundwater?
Yeah, we have a location for
He mentioned
dewatering.
dewatering. He
Right.
mentioned dewatering in the,
It's in the narrative,
Right.
dewatering. I
Yeah.
talked to the contractor, and how he does it. He puts a pool in there, has the pump running, and then just shoots the gunite around it with the pump still running,
Okay,
and just lets it die there. But yes, it does have to be dewatered.
yeah. I mean,
and the contractor's okay with the location?
there must be ways to do it, but there could be times you needed to get all the water that was in there out, but there must be a way to do it. I mean, this isn't the only pool that's ever been put in groundwater.
I'm Steve Haddad, the applicant. If we had to, we would just keep a tanker truck and we'd drain the pool.
Yeah, and somehow keep it,
You would,
Keep it
but
weighted.
it's going to be a gunite pool, so it's required to have water in it year-round.
okay.
Okay.
So-
What happens in the wintertime?
You drop it,
Hopefully it's heated and we can use it, but if it freezes as concrete.
Oh,
A lot of pools have water year-round in them. They go down a little bit.
yeah, they go below the systems that filter everything
Right,
are
right,
all winterized, and then
they just drop
they
it down?
they just
and
drop
let
it down and
Turn to ice,
that's it.
and have a skating rink. All right?
There'd be a cover over it.
The limit of work that is touching your chain link and your wall, is that really realistic? You're gonna have a footing for that wall, even though it's 1.5 feet tall. You're gonna have a footing. You're going right, I know I constantly kiss my limit of work, no matter how close I am or how far I am. And your activity is certainly over that for any compaction and stuff, and the grading and the pavers that are all involved in that. And you're gonna be working away towards the street. There's absolutely no place for storage in there. And it's gonna be, it's gonna be, it literally is right on there. And that's,
No concern.
yeah, a realistic limit of work, I don't see that as being, particularly with the wall and the activities, if you're 5 inches away from the bale or whatever, maybe putting a fence post in, but as far as stonework, dry laying it and facing it, I don't see that being very realistic.
The limit of work is obviously cast in stone. Well, it'll be cast in straw bales.
Yep.
And, for work, for putting it in, I mean, obviously, we just have to stay back of it. I mean, there's not definite dimensions to this, and the wall would just be built so that it's back from the limit of work enough so that A-zone line is not violated.
How much do you think that would be, just out of curiosity? 3 feet, 2 feet, 1 foot?
It is a tight limit of work, but I've been working at the site, for the last 18 months, so I'm familiar with that limit of work. The type of stones that we'd be using would probably no bigger than something that a man could carry. So what we would do is we would build the wall first, because what we're really trying to do is to get the grade at the same level throughout so that we don't have any spillage of the water going back into the resource area, heading back towards the pool. So we would build the wall first and kind of back our way out. But if a foot, made a difference, we would move the wall back a foot from the limit of work. But it is, but if you visited the site, you saw the vegetation, it's 6 to 8 feet tall. So there's no mistaking as to, once you put the hay bale in, you really can't penetrate it. So that was a good thing on this particular property, was that the vegetation itself really was a barrier from actually expanding that limit of work. Where I know some areas it does tend to get expanded, but not here, it didn't, and it won't.
And I'm not really concerned about that, I'm just asking if that's enough, I don't want you to be busting.
No, it's plenty.
Yeah.
I know what you're saying, it's plenty.
If you're,
I'm
if you've got a
comfortable.
comfort level with it, then so be it.
Thank you.
Because Tom's out there all the time, so he'll come check on your side.
Yeah, that's my second home now.
It's a nice place for a second home.
Yeah, if you could live there, yeah. And that's all I had right now. Thank you.
Michelle?
You mentioned, I believe, like a stone trench for the pool? Or
A little edge. We did this, we've done it in a couple of places, but just, an edge where the patio stops before in extreme cases, we could put in a trench drain with piping. I'm not sure this would need it. It's
I
only-
think I see where it's marked on here along the edges. There's just no, I don't see a call out for what it is. So maybe just adding that to the plan. The infiltrators, there's not a detail for that, so maybe those two things would help with that. And that was all I had.
I have no questions.
Any further questions on the board?
Just one, a curiosity. This was underneath the old regs when the notice of intent was issued for this?
The original notice?
Correct. Because this was a process,
Yeah.
right? This was all, okay,
I'm pretty sure it was under the old regs, because it was a long time ago.
yeah. All right.
It was before you were
Yeah.
on.
I think
I think it was-
I remember.
You remember it, and Ed, you remember it, but it was a long time ago. Okay, if we have enough information. if
Actually, we need
you're-
a continuance, right?
We do? Why?
We need one? Oh, that was the other
He
one.
doesn't want to continue.
That was, never
So
never
you're
mind,
happy
I'm
with
sorry.
another
the
chance to get a
plan?
date, but
Just
just
special
send it out.
condition of,
Are you
That's what people
comfortable
are
with
comfortable with.
do you guys
the
want
information you got?
Yes, I am.
All right.
the infiltrators on the plan? Do you want to just condition that? What
The
Michelle was
details.
talking about?
What you were just
The
talking
details
about.
for the
Yeah.
infiltrator.
Should we condition it? Can we
We
condition
can
it?
condition it.
All right. Okay,
I closing condition, I can bring a drawing in with the detail in, for next week, just to get it on record.
well, we can condition it,
Yeah.
but if you know that
Right.
we're going to condition it, you could bring it in next week, and then you don't have to worry about it
Right.
when we issue the order. But I need a motion.
Motion to close and take it under advisement.
Second.
Okay, any further questions? Any questions from the audience? Okay.
I think it's Catherine.
All,
I enjoyed it.
yeah, all The motion on the table is to close this hearing and take it under advisement. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Any abstention? Unanimous, so moved. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Rycon Group, Inc., care of Daniel and Deborah Shearer, 30 Chapcoit Road, West Falmouth, for permission to remove trees, remove a portion of the existing structure, construct an addition with attached garage, remove pavement and gravel driveway, replace with lawn, install a crushed stone driveway, install mitigation planning, dry wells, utilities, remove bittersweet and the associated clearing, excavating, grading, and landscaping. Jen?
I'll save any questions till after Tom's presentation.
Tom, it's been so long since we've seen you.
Good to be back. I am Tom Bunker with BSS Design, still. Bill O'Reilly of the Rycon Group is here. He's the contractor. This is a very nice out-of-the-way property. If you've been there, it's down a little dirt road parallel to the bike path and out to this harbor head in behind where the College Light Opera House is, and there's a nice little pond, which I've heard is man-made or man-dredged, this pond here. But this pond is one of the resource areas we have to deal with. The pond and a 75-foot buffer, and there's a BVW along it with a 50-foot A zone. And this is in flood zone A14, elevation 14. There's a bank, so a coastal bank along here behind this boathouse. And then the coastal bank has a 50-foot A zone to it also. These go along through here. On the tidal water side, we have the land under the ocean, a salt marsh, back up to here, and the marsh elder and whatnot in this location. This is in a flood zone, but it's actually in a flood zone that's 1 foot lower, elevation 13 through here. And there is a coastal bank, so sort of gently sloping 10-to-1, but not 4-to-1, so it does not go above the flood zone, and actually goes a little bit less than 10-to-1 in some places. So we have a coastal bank through this location. The A zone, the B zone from the coastal bank comes up through the house here, and the B zone from this coastal bank comes up through the house here. What they intend to do, or requesting to do, is take off this end of the house right here a little bit and add on a larger piece, which will have a 2-car garage in it. There's presently no garage, but they'll add a garage here and a room, family room on this side here. Is that a family room on the garage side?
It's a kitchen/family.
Kitchen, family room on this side here. It's a side loading garage, so we have to add a driveway coming around this way. The addition itself is almost entirely within lawn area. A little bit of this corner up in the vegetated area. The driveway comes in through this wooded bittersweet honeysuckle area through here. It's mainly locust trees with some cedars on the outside, but probably the bittersweet killed off any of the cedar trees, and now you have locust trees mainly standing back here, which by themselves are considered invasive. This existing boathouse here has a gravel and a paved driveway. This will be removed and the vegetated with lawn, not shrubs, but lawn here. So the mitigation calculations come out to 2,680 square feet of planting required. We put some in the partly in the A and the B zone to this resource area here. So on the point right now, there's some hosta and some other little ornamental garden kind of stuff here, so this will be populated with native shrubs in this location to keep it away from the beech tree, because not much will grow under that. And then 1,637 square feet of mitigation here, another 290, and then 314. So we have the 2,690 square feet of mitigation put around here, which is basically the 2-to-1 for the increase in the impervious surface. Dry wells, staked straw bales for limited work beforehand, and there's the detail, other things for as you require. I'll take questions.
Thanks. Jen?
Not right now, Madam Chair.
Okay. Tom?
The existing septic system is just a cesspool.
Yes.
Has there been any considerations with all the upgrades with the property that a cesspool will have to be addressed at some point in time?
There was consideration. It'd be very disruptive to the site, and there's, it's the plan doesn't quite do us justice for how much vegetation there is on the site, but by getting in here to do this, it would have been very disruptive. We actually did consider, we had set it up, we went up, set up for the perk test and everything, but we realized, how much work would be involved and how disruptive. Doing this work now, or so say doing the septic system at the same time isn't really they're not gonna be in the same location.
Okay.
So, it would have opened this area up
I'm
in addition to
pleased
here.
I'm pleased that that was a discussion, that everybody
There
was
was,
aware
and
of
good
that.
chance that, might get done in the future, but it
I'd
was,
say a strong possibility. The other, on the other side of the garage, when you're pulling in, your limited work over there, is that now gonna be just a lawn area all the way out?
no. I did put in there to cut bittersweet, a note there, just kind of out to
Yeah,
this
I understand
line.
that, but on the house side of the limited work, you're
Adjacent to it,
adjacent to the house, 10 feet out, roughly,
Yeah.
is gonna be a new
there'll
lawn
be
area?
there'll be lawn around the edge of the driveway and out around the house.
Right. When I see the overlay here, and the old vegetation line, edge of clearing, just trying to figure out exactly what the future's gonna be.
There's no plans to revegetate it with shrubs, and, mitigation planting doesn't count
Correct.
within 10 feet, so I think it's just for lawn area along the edge of the, until they do some other landscaping.
This is one of the first times I ever saw an otter was in this river, right over here. Right after I moved here. The beautiful spot, they weathered the storm pretty well. And the concerns that I had, you addressed. Thank you.
I can point out, there's, when you see it, there's lawn going down, but it's one of the old properties that, was probably sheep farm and whatever from way back, and look at the old photos, it's been cleared, but also growing in over the years. But it's a nice property.
It is.
A lot of trees between the house and the water, too.
Right.
Kind of nicely spaced. Michelle?
My only question was, for the mitigation, are you proposing any trees?
I didn't specifically, but I realized that probably to make up for some locust trees, there should, but it's kind of hard to fit them in with, as Betsy said, there's so many trees out there already.
But I didn't say that,
Well,
I didn't say you wouldn't be able to be clever enough to
I
fit some
think
in.
No.
you need to have one for for every 1,000 square feet of mitigation anyhow, plus making up for the ones that are removed, so you might wanna think about where,
And that's in the regulation.
where you might want those. That was my only question.
Ed?
No, I walked the property earlier today. It's a road I'd never been down before, the dirt road.
Yeah.
Thank you for putting the stake by the road, because I passed it the first time around, and coming back, I saw the stake, and that helped me to find it. But I have no real issues.
Tommy?
No question.
Mike?
No questions, very nicely done.
I have a comment.
Okay.
And that, this is just in the future, I think it would have been nice if it was a little more clearly marked where the new driveway was gonna be.
Okay.
I mean, maybe it was just me, but in the field, I was trying to say, is it between these trees, between these trees? But, you know, it's pretty straightforward in the trees. I agree that there should be some trees. The regulations require them, and there are trees coming down, but of course, the trees are a locust, but they are
Yeah.
playing a role. I mean, it's one of those mixed things, right?
Mm-hmm.
Interestingly enough, though, the locusts there still had their leaves. And when we went out to Ashumet, all the locust trees had lost their leaves. But I think it's pretty protected right here.
It
Yeah.
was pretty windy over at Ishim
At Ashumet, yeah, it's really windy there, and it was relatively
over the past
protected
couple of days.
here. Yeah, I bet. Okay, do we need any more information? Do we have everything we need for this, Jen? Like a DEP number and natural
And we can
heritage?
condition the trees.
We can condition the tree.
Okay, then,
Does the applicant understand that there's going to be a condition for the trees?
Yes.
Okay.
I'll move to close the hearing, take it under advisement.
the applicant is happy to know that there will be a condition instead of having
Second.
to come back, since it's in the regulations, to have 1 tree per 1,000 square feet.
So we need 2.6 trees?
Yep. Okay, so there's a motion and a second on the table. Are there any questions from the audience? Dan, you're silent tonight? Okay, we'll call for the vote. All in favor of the motion on the table, which is to close this hearing and take it under advisement, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Any abstention? Unanimous, so moved. Thank you.
Thank you.
It's a nice project. It should be beautiful when it's done.
Pretty nice right now.
Yes, it looks beautiful. It's beautiful out there. Okay. Continued requests for a hearing under a notice of intent. Michael George, 45 Dusty Miller Road. That's continued until the 16th of January. Request to amend the existing order of conditions. John and Judith Dowling, 106 Ransom Road, Falmouth. Request to amend the existing order of conditions, DEP number 253761, to reconfigure the house footprint, construct a storage shed, modify the landscape improvements, and the associated clearing, excavating, grading, and landscaping. Good evening, Raul. We haven't seen you for a while.
Good evening. For the record, Raul Lizardi of
Let me
Homes.
see if Jen has any comments, but I don't think she will. She doesn't. Go on, Raul.
Raul Lizardi of Homes and McGrath, with the civil engineers and land surveyors at this project, representing the applicant John and Judith Dowling at 106 Ransom Road. This is a project that received an order of condition in July of 2011. We're here because there's been some modifications to the proposed house. The modifications have actually reduced the amount of area for the proposed house. In this graphic right here, I am highlighting in dash green an area that used to be a proposed portion of the house that's no longer. And in this area right here, there was a portion of a ramp to the house that's no longer. The reductions of the house on this side, of course, reduced the total square footage of the building, but there was also an extension of the proposed house in this little corner here. The overall impact is a net reduction of 88 square feet of proposed building, but we are not proposing to reduce the mitigation plantings. After all, the Zone A has a 38 square foot increase of impervious surfaces. That would account for 114 square feet of mitigation, but we're still proposing the 460, which is roughly 4 times what's required, but it's what was proposed and approved under the order of condition. We're keeping it the same. This area right here that we're no longer proposing a portion of the building, it's going to be planted. There's a landscaping plan that was submitted with the application for this amendment that shows this bank to be planted with some plants that I'll probably leave it to the landscape plan to describe. And there's been some modifications on this area, I think, for the planting beds. There's a section here that used to be steps from this deck down to the lawn areas, but now it's just a planting bed. We're just keeping the steps going in this direction. And if there's any questions, I'll be happy to answer.
Okay, thanks, Raul. Jen has no questions. Tommy?
No questions?
Mike?
I was a little confused in the field, but maybe you can straighten it out here. On the southwest corner, there's an area proposed as lawn. Is that correct? Is that how that's stated? It was there and it's staying.
There's a proposed edge of lawn here. It's still the same.
South of the building, right along that.
Right. All this right here, proposed edge of
No,
lawn.
Further south.
Further east, further east,
Proposed edge of lawn,
Yeah, in here.
right here, yes.
right there.
And that's staying.
Right. The landscape plan shows that between that proposed edge of lawn and the proposed limit of work, that's going to be vegetated. There's some planting shows on the landscaping plan for that. But the edge of lawn,
Lawn going outside the.
we're
limit of
actually
work.
retrieving the edge of lawn because we're proposing planting from this edge of clearing to the riprap. So we're retrieving the edge of lawn.
So there's a little lawn by the house.
Right now, the lawn goes all the way out to here.
And then a strip of
But
plants.
you'll be, as I read it in the field, you're going to be placing lawn outside the limit of work?
No, the limit of work is here,
Okay.
and the lawn is here.
Okay, that's fine. That's good. I'm done.
Okay.
I showed my confusion. That's okay.
Okay, but now you're clear.
I am.
All right. Tom?
I stuck my neck out and said that if I would never have a house in jurisdiction, with the exception of this one.
Yeah,
I
this was, we
really-
all enjoyed this when we
This
first
is,
visited.
the modifications are minor, and I think that the project has fine
This
standards.
is, remember all this part too?
Oh, yeah,
This is a neat project.
it's awesome.
Michelle?
No questions.
Ed?
Yeah, no questions. I'm a little curious, though. Has any of the work started on this project?
I wasn't told that any work has begun, so I'm not familiar.
Do you know whether any work's been done? You don't know, or you don't? No work's begun, or you don't know? You don't know. Okay.
All right, no problem. The changes are relatively minor.
Yeah. Okay,
Move that we close this hearing and take it under advisement.
Second.
any other questions on the board? Any questions from the audience? Okay, seeing none. Motion on the table is to close this hearing and take it under advisement. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Unanimous, so moved. Thanks, Raul.
Thank you.
Come back more often to visit us. Well, he heard what I said. Okay, continued enforcement hearings, we continue that until 43 Gunning Point. We've continued that until
January 16th.
January 16th. Vote orders of conditions. Jen, shall we start with the first order?
Sure.
Sea Scout Partners, LLC, 350 Quaker Road, North Falmouth.
This is just a continuation of the work being done at the Seacrest Hotel and Conference
Oh,
Center.
that's right.
They reviewed this, they're taking that, maintenance building, they're turning part of it
Into
into
an
a
apartment.
three-bedroom cottage, they're doing some improvements on the water side. and doing some landscaping with that patio, the deck. Some landscaping.
Yeah.
It's just gonna be nice.
Look good.
Oh, I have forms. Susan wants forms.
Okay. I know. Thank goodness she keeps us in order.
She does, because
We appreciate it, even if we don't always show it. Did you get anything of this?
Yes, you need a
Yeah.
cookie.
Did you get a
Tommy,
cookie yet?
Ed,
Oh,
Mike, Betsy, Tom, Michelle, it's all of them. Everyone.
okay. May I have a motion?
I'm gonna move to,
I mean, there wasn't any real special conditions the commission discussed in the hearing regarding this project.
No, Tom
I
had
didn't
a
see
couple
any
of questions,
notes
but I don't
on
think we had any, you had stuff clarified, and I don't think we
Correct.
had any special conditions.
I don't see anything.
so I'll just sort of move to accept the proposed project as presented to us.
Second?
Okay, any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstention? Unanimous, so moved. Okay, Bayberry Road Real Estate Trust, care of William Post, 36 Bayberry Road, East Falmouth. Jen?
Getting the form in. It's all of them. You will remember this one, this is the planting beds that were built adjacent to and within the salt marsh.
I do
yeah.
remember this one.
Wilkinson Ecological presented the landscape plan. We had gone out with them and discussed modifications to the original planting plan they had presented. Staff is comfortable with what was presented. Tom, did you have a, was either Tom or Mike had a
Mike had a pole on the
question on,
The
flagpole
flagpole.
on the south end of that.
yeah,
The slate patio had been pulled up, but then there was still the pipe in the ground, right, Mike?
Right.
And maybe a,
Concrete.
Concrete thing with like the
Yeah.
old
didn't,
footing.
didn't Mr. Ball say they were gonna remove the concrete pad?
yeah, but I
Yes.
think you should just put it in that it's there, and that the special condition is that it has to be
Make the-
removed.
On
Pretty
the
good
south
plan.
side of the coastal bank.
Yeah.
Motion to accept order as discussed.
Second.
Any questions? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstention? Unanimous, so moved. Robert and Rosemary Murphy, 23 Green Pond Road.
This was presented to.
Quorum is,
Tommy, Betsy, Tom, Mike, and Michelle.
Riverfront area.
This was the, yes, the riverfront area one where Tom Bunker went through the alternatives analysis. They did end up shifting the house closer, by a few feet. I think he said 5 feet.
I think it was a foot.
Yeah, it
But
was
made a
very
big difference.
minimal,
Right.
Yeah.
closer to the road.
Right.
I think the only discussion or concern the board had was with the path in the back. I don't have any concern with the house where it's being proposed to be
Right, and the path was okay.
renovated or the mitigation, but you guys were discussing the path, and particularly Mike, you had concerns about whether a dock would go down.
And Maury had
Right.
had that concern too.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
so the zigzag path, okay. So, the dock. And are you comfortable with the way the path traverses that back landscape?
Yeah, I
I
think,
didn't have to deal with it.
yeah, I mean, it, instead of going straight
Good.
down the slope.
Yeah.
A little
Okay.
switchback.
I know you were just
Switch
talking
back.
about it and you were asking a lot of questions, that's why I'm looking at you, Mike, to make sure that you're comfortable with the plan.
No,
that was set.
He just
Okay.
wanted to make sure there wasn't something
That,
At the end
there
of
that
the, at
wasn't
the end of the
shown.
rainbow.
Yeah.
that's exactly.
There's a little,
Wanted to know what that was at the end.
what's that going to? All right, excellent.
Okay, could I have a motion, please?
Motion to accept the notice as discussed.
Second?
Okay, any further questions or discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstention? Unanimous, so moved. Okay, Sally Maber, 25 Barneck Road, Woods Hole.
Okay, this one, it'll be a little interesting. The findings are going to discuss the isolated wetland that's there. It is, oh, sorry.
It does
It's all
serve,
of them except for Ed.
it does serve for flood storage control.
Yes. That, it does have a function,
There are hydric soils,
yeah.
even in the back, and you have to make that as a finding, because everywhere where there's hydric soils,
I was gonna get to that, Madam Chairman, you would like to see
plants
plants,
that will
Yes.
mitigation
soak
planting.
up the water in those hydric soils.
And they should be obligate.
Yeah, oh, absolutely,
Yeah.
either obligate or fact wet,
Yeah.
at the very least.
And the only other thing, they are gonna have to remove vegetation for some of the work to be done.
For the water line to go down, and they're gonna need to
And
replace
for this
that.
side too, I think. To do some of the work, I think they do. I think there should be pre and post pictures.
Yep,
And we need to make sure that they restore the dewatering area. I had that as a note.
yep.
Could be messy out there.
Oh, it's going to be messy out there. So, discuss the wetlands, discuss the hydric soil, discuss the interests of that wetland. Anywhere where there is hydric soils, there are to be plants, the plants are to be obligate and facultative wet, which makes sense. Pre and post pictures, return the vegetation removed to put the water line in, they do need to return in kind. Plant in kind and restore the area of the dewatering.
Correct.
I think that pretty much sums
Yep.
up your discussion of that part.
Motion to approve the project as discussed.
Second.
Okay, we got 3 seconds on that one.
You choose.
Must mean it's okay?
I guess so. Any further, I guess no further, since everybody who's on has said something. I'll call for the vote. All in favor of the motion on the table, which is to accept this as discussed, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstention? Unanimous, so moved. Okay. Jennifer Snyder, trustee, 33 and 37 Penzance Road, Woods Hole. Is this a rebuild of the groin?
Right.
All of them. Nope, not Ed. Sorry, Ed. Ed, where were you?
I know where he was.
Cappadocia.
Oh, you, that's right.
Coming to this neighbor's division,
Right.
here.
I had, make sure we have the,
I'm on the wrong one.
special oil in the hydraulic system.
Yeah.
Must be the bit that I have.
Yeah, there
This
wasn't,
This is the one where they're proposing to access it over the neighbors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what else we had with this one? We wanted them to profile the dune
So they could restore.
so that they could restore it. They're going across,
Yep.
That's, yeah.
yep. So it should be profiled to restore the same height
Yep.
and vegetated state. Didn't you have something? Did you have something? Oh, this work was gonna be done by, they're gonna take
yeah,
the chink stones down by wheelbarrow.
yeah, all by hand.
So use an excavator for the
The
stairs, the
steps.
walkway.
Right, around this way,
Yep.
Through the
Yep.
door.
yeah. And it seems obvious, but I think you should put in a special condition that it be done under proper tide conditions.
Yep. Yeah, you have a standard special condition for this type of work in the
Okay.
tide.
Because we all know that sometimes excavators end up in the water.
I got a great picture of one.
I know. Do we have anything else on that one?
Make a
Motion to accept the order as discussed.
second.
Did you get that, Susan? I did. Okay, we have a motion and a second on the table. Any further questions? Anything to add? Okay. Motion and a second on the table to accept this order as discussed. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstention? Unanimous, so moved. Next is Paul and Barbara Nazaro, 62 Eel River Road.
Yep.
What?
Miss 13 Ocean.
Oh, sorry. John and Maria Maxwell, 13 Ocean Avenue.
Yes, Madam Chairman, this was your project in the velocity zone. It's right out on Ocean Ave. It was the proposed renovation and proposed garage on the house. Redoing the patio, very straightforward project. The only special condition and finding I have is that it is the 200 square feet total and no more increase after that.
Yeah.
Oh,
Interior
okay.
numbers and that.
Did we get a, do you have your
Quorum?
quorum? Okay.
And I don't think the board discussed any additional special conditions or
No, we did not.
concerns regarding this project.
Pretty straightforward.
Make a motion to accept the project as discussed.
Second.
Any other questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstention? Unanimous, so moved. Now, Paul and Barbara Nazaro, 62 Eel River Road, East Falmouth.
This was the amendment to, I would think I could get it right by the end of the thing. It's all of them, including that. This was the amended to that project out on Eel River, where they're reducing the fill from 900 square feet to 350
right.
square feet.
Right.
So,
And all of our other
slight
conditions are the
modification
same.
to the house footprint to accommodate that, but everything else is the same.
So all our conditions as
Yep.
to what kinds of
Except-
material goes into it.
Absolutely, those
Material
will
you
all
talked
remain.
about.
The only condition that will be removed, obviously, is the one that discusses the volume of fill being brought on the property. Not the type of fill, but the
Right.
volume
Yeah.
of fill.
Right,
We're decreasing that, yeah.
from 900 to 350.
It's a
Okay.
beautiful thing.
Motion to accept order as discussed.
Second?
Okay. Any further questions? Okay, motion on the table is to accept as discussed. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstention? Unanimous, so moved. Now, Town of Falmouth, you have that one ready?
Yep. Tommy, Mike, Betsy, Tom, and Ed.
Town of Falmouth Engineering Division, Chappaquoit Road, West Falmouth. It's all of us.
Except me.
Except
Except
from
you.
Michelle.
Oh,
Um,
Charlie.
Huh?
Well, to report,
Oh, that's
the
right.
wall, obviously, they began construction last week. They worked through the weekend to drive the sheet piling in anticipation of the storm, and it held. So
They
they
got it
did.
done.
They got the sheet piling in.
We're
We do-
glad that it held.
We do have to put a condition in about rebuilding that little dune area, that they're using to, for work and to have traffic go over. I do have to, discuss the placement of the orange construction fencing, so they know exactly where that limit, of disturbance should be. That has not been done yet, but I'll speak with them tomorrow.
It doesn't have to
in
be
regard to
fencing,
that.
but, I mean, it can be something more
Said
substantial because
orange
it's windy.
construction, yeah.
But,
Yeah, what happens out there, just so people realize how dynamic that is, the vehicle traffic is limited by the size of the machines that are necessary, and they've already buffered the edge of the road with material to support the weight. There's a lot of heavy machinery going in and out of there on a consistent basis besides the residential traffic. At the end of the night, occasionally, the machine will actually be on the dune. They're they don't want to take that huge machine and go down across the pavement any more than they have to. And they don't want to have it any closer to the outside wall because of the weight of the machine. It's going to be a little bit different now that in talking with these guys, I check in with them every morning that they're there. Their methodology is, they're right on the numbers. They're really struggling to accommodate all the, there's only so, it was amazing to see how fast they could go with as many interruptions as they had. The wires that are hanging between the telephone poles are now,
A little bit
and
low.
on Friday, we had a transformer repaired. NSTAR had to do an emergency transformer repair right in that same area. So you want to talk
On
about.
Friday.
Yeah, it was a cluster, let me tell you. It was, they had clean
Those poor
harbors there. It was
guys.
just incredible. It was just like, it was a lot of stuff in a real small package, let me tell you. But the fencing may not be necessary because they've been pretty diligent about it.
Okay.
And I'm, not to shoulder this and make myself responsible, but I guess I just did.
I was gonna say, you just did, Tom.
I would like to have something,
You can't go out that far anyways. You could put we could definitely have something, but realize that when, at the end of the night, more than the 8 feet that you need, if you get that machine off, you're 12, 14 feet.
well, okay, but that's
And then-
where the fencing can be.
Okay.
But
That'd
they're
be-
already sort of,
Yep.
they're already edging into that between the telephone poles. Somebody is. I don't know if it's the construction people.
It does happen, you know, the size of the machinery that's out there and the stuff that's NSTAR and Clean Harbors, when they went out there, there was quite a bit of activity on the dune as well. Not pointing fingers, you know, that's a shared responsibility out there from everybody that's going out. But it will survive, it won't be a bad thing.
All right. Well, they'll obviously have to restore the area as well, so.
What?
Mr. Shear would like to say something too.
We can say something, but after we vote, we have to vote this.
Dan's just there because it's so entertaining to watch us handle our business.
I know, and
right?
he can, Dan, if you have a comment, you can, but this is discussing a vote, and we have to take the vote first.
Okay,
Yeah.
Okay. Make a motion to accept the order as discussed.
Second.
Okay, all in favor of the motion on the table, which is to accept this order as presented and discussed, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstention? Unanimous, so moved. Do you have the next one?
Yeah, Cavallaro is the.
Did you want to make a comment? You
I
may.
just wanted to say that they did an absolutely marvelous.
Unfortunately, Dan, even though we all know who you are,
I know. I'm Dan Shearer. At the moment, I'm living on Chappaquiddick. They did an absolutely marvelous job. I think some of those ruts you've seen on the right-hand side of the road going north were from the job that the Smiths were doing when they had those two big cranes out there. They
Okay.
were tremendous. They were as wide as from you to me. And they went out there, very slowly, and they tried to do everything they could. They did a beautiful job moving that roof. Now they tore it down, of course. But the day that, or the 2 days that they were putting in the riprap, it was, to watch it, it was amazing. And they made people like myself wait half an hour before we could go or come while they were doing the work. Then they let the cars through that were backed up, and we came through. And nobody went over, nobody wants to put a car in that sand because you'll get stuck on the right-hand side. So
yeah.
I don't think you need a fence. I'm not complaining about a fence or anything else, but I think so far, they've done great work.
Yep.
And
We're-
thank you.
We're glad, we hope it lasts at least,
To the completion.
another couple, well, certainly we hope it lasts till completion. We hope it lasts several decades after that.
I hope so.
Wow, that's pressing your luck.
Wishful thinking. Sometimes hurricanes don't hit places for 50 years, and then they do.
The sea level is creeping up there.
Or an inlet, it would clean the harbor.
It would, but, well, who knows? Philip Cavallo, 297 Quaker Road.
It's all of them, except for Michelle.
Jen,
And that is the amendment on the deck. Remember
Right.
with the beech trees, so they changed
that
the
just last
footing?
week, too?
Yes.
That was last week, and they've gone to a two-tiered deck
right,
now.
right. I like that. I think that's
To
gonna be much
keep
nicer, much more
The,
interesting.
the integrity of those beech tree roots, so they don't damage that tree.
Yep. And those of us who are not quite as astute with tree roots as Maury and Ted were, we have to keep that in mind, because that's something to think about with projects. Big trees like that have big wide root systems. Okay, any other questions? Can I have a,
Make a motion to accept the order as discussed.
Second.
all in favor of the motion on the table, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstention? Unanimous, so moved. Vote enforcement order. I thought we've already done
You
this.
did that, but that's because we officially closed the hearing last week, so it's on your agenda. I gave you the update last week of the progress that's being made out there, so we're pleased to see that. So we're just gonna follow through with that, and
Okay.
hopefully the board will see an order of condition, a notice of intent. They were hoping by the end of the year, but, sometime soon, so.
Okay.
Good.
Other business, remind Commission of Ethics exam.
Please take your ethics exam.
Somebody, Mike took
I
his.
took it. Thank you. I will
Those of
take
us,
all of your
the
forms.
four of us who did it a couple of years ago, we have to do it again.
We'll all have to do it again. I will take the forms. Tommy, when you get your form, when you get back up and running, just either scan
Somebody
it and
else did
email
it?
it to
Is
me,
that
or
you?
I'll probably do it.
just bring
Such
it in.
efficient people here.
And also, Madam Chairman, one other thing under other business, just to let the board know, a couple of things going on within the town regarding the storm. Betsy and I had
A delightful field trip.
quite the day the other day, driving around, looking at all the different storm things. Little Pond, Salt Pond, and Fresh River were all
Totally plugged up.
plugged up. You
Totally
couldn't
plugged
even
up.
tell there was an inlet there. It just looked like a beach.
It's a beach.
So that needs to be restored. The dune along the Minot Beach parking lot is gone.
It's not like it was pushed inland. It-
Nope, it's just not
it's
there anymore.
disappeared.
So I'll
knew
be
that was gonna
working
happen.
with the beach committee to reestablish another sacrificial dune, because it did, help protect that little road, all that material though. We're gonna look at a different type of material to use in the next dune. I
What
think,
would really
over
be
there.
nice if they did it now so they could plant it now, because it wasn't planted. It
I
was gonna be
plan on
planted
meeting
this
with them
winter.
on Monday. The Minot Road seawall, they'll be pushing those big concrete blocks back soon and repairing that. Surf Drive will be repaired shortly. DEP did issue emergency regulations Friday at about 6 o'clock for this storm. They're a very narrow set of regulations, so we're working with people to see if their projects fit into that. It's more to help the municipalities than anybody that has damage to an actual structure or a house. But we're working through that, and there is an issue out on Grand Ave that I'll be looking at tomorrow, where the bank and the bluff is slumped down. It's now compromising the road, but the town is already on that, and Applied Coastal is surveying that area and will be submitting something to you for a written emergency. So there are 2 tiers of emergency regulations under what DEP submitted. One doesn't require any notification to the board, and one does require a notification and a written notification to this board. So I'm working with the town to look at the different projects. And Betsy was out with me, and we did see the engineering department at a couple of the sites we were at.
We saw lots of people from engineering.
Yes, we did. So I just wanted to give you an update on that. If you have any
Several
questions, let me
different
know.
nights.
Do we have to do those minutes?
The minutes, let's go back to the presentation. She had sent me an email the other day. I apparently got the date wrong. I think they're here next week, so.
Who?
That was,
Wilkinson.
Oh,
Wilkinson.
Wilkinson.
basically, they'll be in next week to give you, Jen Exner really wanted to give the board a presentation on the Bernstein's property, just because the board and the staff struggled with the concept that they had proposed of stripping that entire bank with the rest of vegetation and then replanting it. And we did struggle with that, so they wanted to come in and give a short presentation to the board and keep you up to speed on the status of that project and let you see for yourselves through photos how that is going.
Right, and
So-
part of it was, I mean, they have a monitoring, so it would be nice
Yes.
to see an intermediate.
But, that was
Stage.
a really new kind of project for this board. So I think it is important that the board see how that project is progressing. And the minutes, if you can all just look at the last portion of the minutes.
You gave it
I
to
did-
me, but I've
okay.
lost them.
Basically, I just need you to review the last part of that hearing where you voted the revision to the April 25th minutes for the McGann property. Remember, all we
Right,
did
the-
was put in that you voted that you had moved a positive order of conditions and then voted that down.
Correct.
That is the section of the minutes I need you to review and approve tonight for me,
I
if
gave
you
you
don't
mine.
mind. You had 2 sets of minutes on the table. Where did they go?
Here it is.
We go back to which one?
The 24th.
Last weekend. Remember, we discussed the McGann, the fence down on Foster
Other
Road?
business. The other business, amend minutes, is this what we're talking
Yes.
about? Amend minutes of April 25th, 2012, re William McGann. All we have to do is vote this.
Vote that section.
Okay, so could we have a motion on the table to vote only the section other business, which is where we amended the minutes of April 25th, 2012, to reflect that Tom said, move to accept a positive motion on the order of conditions as written and discussed. And this is just this section of the minutes of October 24th, and we'll do the rest of October 24th next week.
Next week.
That is my motion.
Thank you.
May I have a second?
Second.
Okay, the motion on the table is to accept the section of other business from the minutes of October 24th. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstention?
I wasn't there. So, I can't vote on it.
Well, so you're not gonna
Yeah.
abstain, you're just not gonna vote.
Yep.
Unanimous, so moved.
Motion to adjourn?
Second?
Who's gonna second it?